Okay, you guys, so the verdict is in for Sean Diddy Combs' sentencing, and I'm going to let you know what the judge have decided. Also, I'm going to tell you about Charlie Kirk assassination. The last video that I did and I posted, something doesn't seem right to me. Something is very, very odd, and I cannot put the pieces together. Is this something is just not right? So I'm going to go back and actually circle back the last conversation that I had about the whole security team and minutes after the shooting of Shawnee Ducombe, how the crime scene was not protected, and I just don't understand why. So we're gonna go and dive into this, and hopefully it's not a rabbit hole because I do not want to be in a rabbit hole of this whole assassination of Charlie Kirk because we are here for the truth. So welcome back to my channel of That's It. All right, you guys. So I kind of hesitate, I'm not gonna lie to you, if I wanted to talk about the sentencing of Sean Diddy Combs, even though I covered it for 2 days when I was in New York back in May. And I even said in my previous video, the whole trial to me, in my opinion, was a shit show. And the reason why I said that, because they did not bring people that were involved in the whole freak off and the whole I wouldn't say trafficking, but the whole disgusting deed that's been happening over a decade with Sean Diddy Combs, how he manipulated people, how he threatened them, gaslighted them, used them. And there was more people that was in Sean Diddy Combs' inner circle, which the prosecutors did not bring, which I don't understand why. And this is the government. And they just brought like certain witnesses, but they didn't bring everyone. Like, for example, his personal assistant or his chief of staff, Kamara, they didn't bring her. The other witness, Jane Doe, she went MIA. She decided not to testify against Sean Diddy Combs. And this other gentleman, when I can't think of his name on the top of my head, he's the main factor. And the fact of the matter is, they did not put the main person who had a lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs, Little Rod. You know, if you read that lawsuit, very, very despicable. Hopefully I'm saying it right. So many details of what happened to him and behind the scenes. I'm very, very surprised the prosecutor did not even use that against Sean Diddy Combs. Again, it was a shit show, and it didn't really matter. I just feel like, in my opinion, they raided his house because maybe he had something that people were not aware of, meaning the high elites, the high powerful people that he blackmailed, and they raided his house to confiscate those videos and those tapes. And they wanted to make an example of Sean Diddy Combs. That's just my opinion. They wanted to make an example of him and publicly embarrass him with the freak offs and everything and expose him, because I guess they wanted to put him in his place because he was just getting so arrogant and he was getting in his head because he was demanding a lot of things that, the high powerful elites did not like. So when you piss people off like that, they're going to set an example out of you. And I believe that's what they did with Sean Diddy Combs. It was just all a shit show, in my opinion. But anyway, before I tell you what the judge has ruled and made his decision, I want to read to you what Cassie had wrote to the judge before he made his decision of Sean Diddy Combs' sentencing. Okay, here we go. And this is Cassidy letter to the judge. I have been in a cycle of thoughts and over thoughts writing this letter to you. If there is one thing I have learned from this experience, is it is that victims and survivors will never be safe. Although I can hope for justice and accountability, I have come not to trust anything. I hear that. I hope that your decision considered the truths at hand that the jury failed to see. For 4 days in May, while 9 months pregnant with my son, I testified in front of a pack of courtrooms about the most traumatic and horrifying chapter in my life. I testified from I testified that from age 19, Sean Combs used violence, threats, and substance and control over my career to trap me in over a decade of abuse. He groomed me into performing repeatedly sex acts with higher male sex workers. during multiple days, freak offs, which occur nearly weekly. I was forced into lingerie and heels, told exactly how to look, and uh, apply with drugs and alcohol so he could control me like a puppet. These events were degrading and disgusting, leaving me with infections, illness, and days of physical and emotional exhaustion before he demanded it all again. Sex acts became my full time job, used as the only way to stay in his good graces. I testified that I learned to read Sean Combs' signals, knowing that when he spoke of freak offs, he was demanding them, and that refusing meant punishment, losing my car, my phone, or worse. He controlled every part of my livelihood and threatened to destroy my reputation by leaking sex tapes and threats repeatedly often. His power over me en- enrolled my opinions and self of sense of self until I felt I had no choice but to submit. When he believed I had wrongly him or was not sufficient responsive, he also threatened people around me and those close to me, including my family. I regularly worried that displeasing him meant putting my family and friends' safety at risk. I testify how beyond these threats, Sean Diddy frequently used violence to get his way. Over the nearly 11 years we were together, Sean Combs would hit me, punch me, stomp on my face, pull my hair, throw my body to the ground against the wall. The jury saw pictures of bruises on my back from Combs kicking me and saw the deep gash over my eye he caused when he slammed me into the bed frame. The entire courtroom watched actual footage of Combs kicking me, beating me as I tried to run away from the freak off in 2016. People watched this footage dozens of times, seeing my body thrown to the ground, my hands over my head, curling into a fetal position to shield me from the worst blows. This physical violence caused bruises that makeup artists paid for by Sean Combs would cover up, as well as permanent scars over my body. During my time with Combs, I was in constant state of hyperventilating, as I always anticipating demands for sex acts or otherwise fearing the reputation of any received site. My descent into substance abuse was directly correlated with his increased control over my body, my money, my freedom, and my free will. I used those drugs to push through the horrifying sex acts he demanded, and to numb myself to the physical pain and controlled turmoil I was constantly in. While the defense attorneys at trial suggested my time with Combs was an inkling to a great modern love story, nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing about this story is great modern of loving. This was a horrific decade of life substance by abuse, violence, and forced sex and degradation. I spent the last 7 years of my life slowly rebuilding myself, physically getting clean from the drugs, abuse Sean Combs forced an encounter, and mentally understanding how to live with a seemingly insurmountable level of trauma. The horror, the horrors, I can't even say it, sorry, my tongue is still in pain. The horror I endure drove me to have thoughts of suicide. Once I almost followed through on it. If not for my family intervention and urging that I seek professional I have been to rehab and acts. I have been taking part in dozens of types of therapy moderations to comfort and compartmentalize, I can't even say, compartmentalize and cope with the horrific memories of sexual and emotional abuse I endured for nearly 10 years. While what he did to me is always a present, I am slowly learning how to live my life free from the fear and horrors I endure, and in doing so, am forcibly devoting to my husband and my children. I still have nightmares and flashbacks on a regular, everyday basis and continue to require psychological care to cope with my past. My worry that Sean Combs or his associate will come after me and my family is my reality. I have in fact moved my family out of New York area and am keeping as private and quiet as possible can because I am so scared that if he walks free, his first action will be swift to reputate reputation towards me and others who spoke up about his abuse at trial. As much progress as I have made in recovering from this abuse, I remain very much afraid of what he is capable of and the malice of undoubtedly harbors towards me for having for for me having the bravery to tell the truth. And his defense attorneys claim that he claims his fence excuse me his defense attorneys claim that he is a changed man and he wanted to mentor abusers. I know firsthand what real mentor means, and this disgusts me. He is not being truthful. I know that who he was to me, the manipulator, the aggressor, the abuser, the trafficker. He is who he is as human. He has no interest in changing or becoming better. He will always be the same cruel, power hungry, manipulative man that he is. When I came out of when I came out with my allegation in a civil case, he flatly denied them again and again. She ain't lying about that. It was only after actual video footage corroborated the exact words in my civil complaint, and that he reissued as a simple apology on the internet. And I have to say, pause, that was not an apology. I said it months ago. That was a fake apology because the footage of the video of him beating Cassidy in 2016, it got leaked out. So his PR told him he got to get right in front of it and apologize. But he never mentioned Cassidy's name. He just said that he was disgusted by it, that he was a changed man, blah 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 blah. So I agree with Cassidy there. Thanks to the footage and my testimony, this also sometimes something he will. Let me start all over. Thanks to the footage and my testimony, this is also something he will forever be associated with. That is true. For over a decade, Sean Combs made me feel powerless and unimportant. By, but my experience was real and horrific and deserved to be considered. While the jury did not seem to understand or believe that I engaged in freak-offs because of the force of a coercion that defense used against me, I know that this is the truth. And this sentence would reflect the reality of the evidence and my lived experience as a victim. Reliving in details the event and truth described throughout the trial, and this letter caused me tremendous emotional pain. I'm trying with all that I am to move on. I hope that your sentence decision reflects the strength it took for victims of Sean Combs to, this is the last one, to come forward. I hope that your decision consider the many lives that Sean Combs has upended with his abuse and control. I thank you for your time and attention. Cassidy Ventura, fine. That's a very powerful letter that she wrote to the judge. Very powerful, very brave. And like I said, she was brave for, going to trial in that month of May of this year in the summer, 9 months pregnant. She could have gave birth anytime soon, but she didn't, and she pushed through. Now, every other people was writing letters to the judge to plead with him, basically to say, don't let this man out because he is not a changed man. He's not. And then after, before the judge made his ruling, Sean Diddy Combs' children came to the courtroom. Quincy Brown, Justin Combs, and their two daughters, Delilah and Jessie. And they all spoke, including Sean Diddy Combs too. They all spoke. And I just want to read to you what Sean Diddy Combs, the letter that he said to the judge. And I just want you to take a look at this. I got lost in my journey, lost in the drugs and the drugs and excess and the accessories. My downfall was rooted in my selfishness. I have been broke humble and broken to my core. Now, to me, that's a fake apology. He did not apologize to the victims. He did not apologize to the survivors. He did not acknowledge their names. He did not say sorry. None of that stuff. And the funny thing is, too, he's making an appearance in Miami. So he thought, and this is his arrogance, he thought that he was going to be released, time served, because he's almost been in jail for almost 2 years now. And he thought that the judge was going to rule time served, and then he was going to go to Miami to do a conference meeting. Like, again, the arrogance. He thought he was going to be let out. And then his children did an 11-minute video of Sean Diddy Combs with his children, and now how he's changed and he's a reformed man, and he lost his he learned his lesson. Excuse me. I just want to read to you what Quincy Brown said to the judge. Diddy adopted son. And first of all, Diddy did not adopted Quincy Jones. Even his father said that as well. Al Shore, he even said that Sean Diddy Combs did not adopted my son. So I don't understand why they're not getting this right and fixing this, because Sean Diddy Combs did not adopted Quincy Brown. Okay, it still has Brown, his last name, because that's Al Shore's last name, Brown. It didn't say Combs. So get it right. Anyway, so Quincy told the court that his father has been changed after the trial. My father has learned a major lesson, Brown said. We have seen him involve something we haven't seen in 15 years, and he would never do anything to jeopardize his freedom. Now, how do you know your father has been changed? How do you know that he's reformed? He's probably telling you that, but how do you know that? Again, I just feel like, and again, that's his stepdad, his father, because he basically raised him, and he wants him out. Okay, rightfully so. But your dad did some terrible, terrible things to people. How do you know he's been reformed? I'm sorry, he has not been reformed. And that is my opinion. You're just saying all this stuff, Sean Diddy Combs, just to get out. So he can just do this again. You don't think that he's going to retaliate if the judge let him out? Think about it. If the judge let him out, you don't think that Sean Diddy Combs is going to get his associates to retaliate on the people that testified against him to say all these things? Think about this. Sean Diddy Combs holds a grudge. He doesn't let things go, okay? To me, in my opinion, this man is not reformed. He has not changed. I don't give a damn what he's telling the judge or the attorneys are telling him that, oh, he's mentoring, prisoners. Okay, what that got to do with anything? That don't mean shit. Excuse my French. That don't mean jack S. Okay, reform, change, no apology, no accountability, no nothing. He has not learned a darn thing, in my opinion. Because if he did, after that whole 1999 trial, you would think he'd be changed. You think he'd be a reformed man because God gave him a second chance to do better. Because he did all these other stuff in the past, helping his community, giving back and doing stuff. Okay, that's great. That's great that you did that. That's great that you gave back and you helped your community. You were there for your children. But that does not excuse what you did to Cassidy and your other victims, now survivors. It doesn't excuse that. And all the apologies in the world is not going to erase the damage that you did to these people that affect them for the rest of their life, that they have to go to therapy and they're not going to relive it, but they still have nightmares. And they don't want to look over their shoulder if you're out free, that they're thinking that you may do something to them. That has to be taken in accountability. And I get it. I feel like their children, they're biased because that's their father. You know what I mean? Another thing. Justin Combs asked the judge to give his father a second chance. And I'm thinking, aren't those two on a similar situation that Sean Diddy Combs is in a lawsuit? That, my father taught us how to respect women and how to be kind to women. And I'm just paraphrasing this. But aren't these two on the same similar situation in a lawsuit that they assaulted a young female? Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Anyway. Then Justin continued to say This is the hardest time of my life. My father is a superhero, Justin told the judge. God makes no mistake. See, this is what I don't like. This is the problem. Why are you bringing God into this? Okay. Yes, Justin's absolutely correct. God do not make mistakes. However, God punish people too. Okay. He done all this. Okay. He got away with a lot of stuff. And like I said, God gave him a second chance. Okay. He did. And what did he do with that second chance? He abused it and he done 10 times worse to other people over the last decade. So yes, God don't make a mistake, but God is going to punish the people who have done things wrongly to other people because you're supposed to love your neighbors, respect people, be kind to others, not threaten them, abuse them, none of that stuff. Okay, and that's what your father did, Sean Diddy Combs. Okay, so I don't like that at all. Going through this tough time. He's drug free. Obviously, he's drug free because he's been in jail for almost 2 years. So yeah, he's intoxicated. All that system is out of all that drug is out of his system. So yeah, now he probably have a clear level head now because he's no longer in drugs, and he's changed for the better. I disagree on that. Now the daughters, Delida and Jesse, also made a statement in the court saying that these three, the three, what did I say? They said that the three forces on their 2-year-old baby sister became emotional, and they want the judge to emphasize that they don't that their baby sister don't have a father, and they don't want the baby sister love to be fatherless, and they lost their mother too, which their mother is Kim Porter, and they don't want to lose their father. And listen, I sympathize, with the daughters. You know what I mean? I really do because they lost their mother. Now they're going to lose their father. Now they don't have their father around. And I really, 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 I just want to make that very clear, really sympathize with them, with the girls, and the little one too, who's 2 years old, Love. However, your dad did a bad thing. And when people do bad things, I will hope and pray that people take accountability and and deal with the consequence. You can't just do things and just get away with it. And I get it. My heart goes out to the girls. I really do. But there should be punishment. There should be consequences for your actions. And there needs to be consequences with Sean Diddy because he's never going to learn. He never learned over a decade. And he continued to do the same thing that he did. What makes you think he learned now? Because of 2 years that he's been in jail? That's not enough. Not enough. Now, the prosecutor wants 11 years. His defense team want 14 months sentence time served because he already served like almost 2 years in jail. Now, this is the judge ruling, which I'm not very happy with the judge ruling. So the judge ruled 4 years and 2 months in prison for Sean Diddy Combs. Now, is that justice? To me, no, it's not enough. I would thought at least he would have get like, I'm not gonna lie to you, 11 years. I really wanted 11 years. If it wouldn't be 11 years, maybe 7 years at least. I think 4 years, it doesn't cut it, in my opinion. 4 years is not enough. It's not enough. 4 years are going to go quick. 1, 2, 3. You already served 2.5 already. So then 1.5, yeah, 1.5. Okay, he already served. Then you have to serve 3 more. I feel like that's not enough. That's not enough. But that's the judge ruling. I disagree. I'm not happy with the judge ruling, but that's his decision. I can just voice my opinion about it. I'm not happy and pleased about the 4 years and 2 months. To me, it's not enough, but at least he has a record, so thank God for that. So if when he does come out and if he does anything foolish or crazy, he goes back to prison because he has a record now. You know what I mean? So at least he has a record. So when he does come out and if he even thinks of doing something stupid or foolish, then there's a paper trail that he has a record and he's been to prison for 4 years. So I'm not happy and pleased of the judge's decision, but it is what it is. It's 4 years better than nothing, to be honest with you. I wanted more, but anyway, I don't want to keep talking about this. The judge ruled his decision, 4 years in prison in 2 months, and that is it. I don't think, I honestly believe that Diddy thought he was going to get out. No. Even though the judge denied every request that you made, for not appeals, but for you to be released, your bail. And he was just so confident that he would be out today. Because again, he had not a press conference, like what else? I just said it too, that he had an event in Miami. That's how confident he thought he was. Again, the arrogance and the smug. Anyway, so apparently he is not going to get out. He's going to be in prison for 3.5 years. So to me, um, I don't think justice is served, but it's better than nothing, and it is what it is. So he is going to serve some time. So thank God for that, and I hope that give the survivors some peace of mind that that Diddy's going to serve time. So thank God for that. Moving on, because like I said, the whole trial was a shit show to me, and it was just no need for it. But anyway, whatever. Now I just want to circle back on what I spoke about yesterday about Charlie Kirk. And the thing that really, really, what I'm struggling about, you guys, is the main footage of the HD camera that camera guy took from the guy that worked with Turning Point USA, and the one that was sitting behind Charlie Kirk before when he got assassinated. And I remember, you guys remember when Candace Owens was talking about it, that she said that she knows this guy, and she reached out to him and say, hey, there's a footage of you, taking the camera, the SD out of the camera, and you put it in your pocket and you're giving it to someone. And to me, that's a red flag. Why? Because that's a crime scene, and he is tampering with evidence and contaminating with all his DNA and fingerprints. That's a crime scene. And then when I looked at it, I'm like, first of all, I didn't know who he was until Candace Owens said in her show that she know this guy, and he worked for Turning Point USA. And like I said, she reached out to him. He was very hesitant not to give the SD card to Candace. And Candace said, well, what if I can just watch it? So they set up a meeting, and then she actually watched the footage and everything. But I'm going to circle back to that in a little bit. But my thing is, when Charlie Kirk was shot, why? Why did it protect the crime scene? Why there was no tape? Why there was no law enforcement, putting tape in the crime scene so that none of it will be contaminated, none of it will be tampered with? You know what I mean? I in the videos, because I watched tons of the videos, that I saw people were grabbing hats, throwing them, taking it from the truck and throwing it to other people. There was no security. There was no law enforcement anywhere to protect the crime scene. It's just crazy to me. And then about a minute after the shooting, not even one police officer secure the crime scene. To me, that is crazy. Crazy. Not one. Not one. You would think that's odd, because I watch multiple videos, the aftermath, and then nothing at all, except for one guy who seemed like he was law enforcement, which I'm going to show you a picture of, and it seemed like he had a weapon on him, and then you can see the camera guy behind him, and I'm like, again, not noticing anything off, not protecting the crime scene to see if there's any bullets, any fragments, a possibility of anything. Again, I'm not a forensic, but you would think 101, and I'm not a police officer. You know what I mean? I'm not detective, and I'm not in a crime scene. But you would think common sense to protect that area, because again, that's evidence. But they didn't do that. Again, I don't understand. I don't understand what's happening here. And I feel like the way they're handling it is disgusting beyond me. It seems like they don't care. And then Charlie Kirk's friends, no one's not stepping up and asking the questions of what the hell happened to him. Everyone's just moving on like, okay, he's dead. The FBI is taking care of it. So we just got to focus on Turning Point. And I'm like, that don't sit well with me. That really don't sit well with me. And I'm like, shouldn't you be more concerned of what happened to your friend Charlie Kirk? Shouldn't you be concerned why they killed him? Why they pick this venue, this particular area? Why there was not enough security? Why? Only one person who really cares and putting her effort into this is Candace Owens. She's the only one who's investing in this to find out the truth. And none of his friends or everyone else just moved on. Like, okay, he's gone. We just have to focus on Turning Point. We got to focus on the legacy and keep it going, keep it running. And I'm thinking to myself, that's still going to be there. Turning Point is still going to be around. And but the fact of the matter is, you're not worrying or you're not asking questions what really happened to Charlie Kirk. That don't sit well with me. That really don't. Because if it was my friend that was assassinated like that, got shot in the neck, you best believe I'm going to find out what happened to my friend. I don't give a damn about the business. I really don't. Yes, it will still be around, but I'm going to find out. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to get to the bottom of the truth of what really happened. Because the whole narrative spin that they're spinning doesn't make any sense. And no one's not asking the questions. No one's not concerned. Everyone is moving on, except for Candace Owens. She's the only one that cares and that wants the truth. But everyone's saying she's crazy. Everyone's saying that she doesn't know what she's talking about. She should wait. She should wait after the memorial service. She should wait after this. Why? So they can erase and get rid of everything? They're doing it right now. They did a construction on the site where he was assassinated. And it's completely different. Why is that? It's a crime scene, and then you're just doing construction where Charlie Kirk got assassinated, like it never happened. And to me, that's beyond crazy to me. Crazy. What was it scheduled for it to be constructed? The exact same site. What happened? Like these are the questions that I'm asking. What happened? You know what I mean? Like I just don't understand this. I really don't. And I just want to show you a clipping before I move on of the guy taking the SD card. So take a look. There we go. Now, my thing is, okay, why they're not showing that footage? And you heard Candace Owens talking about it, and then again, I watched multiple videos, okay? There was no blood, okay? There was no blood. There was nothing gruesome about it. There was no blood. So I don't understand why the FBI or why that gentleman, which I don't know his name, why he's not giving the SD card to Candace Owens, because even Candace Owens said in her show, and she reviewed the video, the footage, excuse me, that there's no blood. There's no blood. So again, why not show the footage? What are they hiding? It doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. So none of it makes sense to me at all. Now, I want to go back to the construction, the area where Charlie Kirk got shot. You would assume, you know, this assassination, this whole magnitude, you would assume that they would protect the crime scene, meaning that potentially get bullet fragments, get other things around it. This is like the worst assassination happening than JFK. Okay, I wasn't even born when JFK got assassinated, but this is like magnitude of what we just witnessed on September 10th. Okay, you would think, because they said that he got shot in that particular area. Why did not protect the crime scene? Why did not getting bullets or potential fragments or other things? They just kept it wide open. Doesn't make any sense to me. Again, there's no blood there's no blood from the back. So I don't understand why they're not showing that footage. Also, and this is what I wrote down too, did the bullet pierce and went out of the back? That's the question that I'm asking that hopefully someone can give me the answer to, or other people that who has um, reviewed the videos to answer that question for me. Also, were the feds looking for the bullet? Were they really looking for the bullet? Or were they looking for something else? Because again, the video that I showed you yesterday about these three men, how they grabbed something and they gave it to the other person, looked very, very suspicious to me. Very. I don't know what it is. I can't speculate what it is, but it looks very suspect to me. Very, very suspect. And were they looking for something else? Because it's not like Charlie Kirk had a body armor. He had some type of speaker on his shirt and his necklace. But what did they grab from him and then they gave it to someone else? To me, that looks very, very suspicious to me. Also, what happened in the front did not happen in the back at all. As you can see, I noticed there was no blood. When Charlie Kirk got shot and his security team ran after him to make sure everything was good, you would think they would, make sure that there was no other bullets flying around. There was only one bullet, but they acted so strange that the fact that they were looking for something, they found something, and then they gave it to someone else. To me, that doesn't seem normal to me at all. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. There was no blood in their hands or in the back of Charlie's neck. Nothing like that. So what's going on here? That's the question that I'm asking. What is happening here? Because none of this make any sense to me. Okay? What happened to George Zinn? People start talking about him. What happened to him? Okay? Yes, he, when that shot fired, he stood up, raising his cap. Everyone was ducking down, and he's the only one standing, raising a baseball cap or something, like signaling like he did something. That's not normal. Most people, like all the other students, they duck down. They're trying to get away so they won't to get away, so there's no other flying bullets around, except for him. Like I said, he has something to do with this. He's definitely a decoy boy. Okay, he has something to do with it, and I just want to make this very clear again. I absolutely believe that Tyler Robinson has something to do with this, 100%. Okay, he's also a decoy boy as well. But did he shoot Charlie Kirk? No. He did not. And I firmly believe that, and I'm going with my gut instinct. He is not the shooter. He is definitely not the shooter. And I can say that 100% without a shadow of a doubt. Tyler Robinson is not the shooter. He had any involvement in this? Absolutely, 100%. But he was not the shooter. He was a decoy boy. And so was the other one. And the funny thing is, too, and Candace always said that, he never set foot in that college campus, that university. He never set foot in UVU. So the footage that they're showing us, that blurry footage, who is that? Again, I feel like they made it all up, the FBI. They made that assumption they used that video that we cannot see, even though the whole campus had HD cameras, high quality, okay, high definition. But they showed us this granny, just blurry, that's the word I want to say, blurry image that we cannot see the face, okay? And they try to point it to be that it's Tyler Robinson when clearly it doesn't even look like him at all. At all. We all have eyes that we can see. It does not look like Tyler Robinson at all. It's a different person, 100%. But again, they're using that narrative to point that out, that it's Tyler Robinson when it's not Tyler. So what happened to George Zinn? Even though they found kitty points on his phone, is that all in a rouge to get us to forget about the narrative, what we believe in, what really happened, and believe what the FBI is telling us, and just to focus on what they're saying to us, that, oh, they found kitty porns on his phone, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I feel like that's just an distraction, because easily FBI can plant that in people's phone. They really can, to show us or tell us, a narrative about someone. Okay. Was it odd what he did? Look suspect? Yes, 100%. I feel like he has something to do with this 100%. He has some type of involvement. Okay? But we haven't heard about anything. No articles, no anything. What about the boyfriend? Lance. Nothing. Not a peep. Nothing about him. He just disappeared. Poof. Disappeared. He's gone to the wind. Okay? And this is an article from Daily Mail. And it says, oh, this is so blurry. Not blurry, but I can't hardly read it. See it, excuse me. And I'm going to read it to you. What the Daily Mail says. Charlie Kirk's suspect trans lover seems indulged of a new image as family friends reveal why parents kicked him out. So, he's nowhere to be found. Okay? He's just gone in the wind. And no one doesn't know where he is. He just disappeared. And this is my theory. One, they put him in witness protection. Okay, so 2, he's probably dead. Okay. 2, dead. And what's the third option? No, there's no third option. There's only 2. Okay. He's possibly in a witness protection. Okay. Or they silence him, meaning that he's no longer on this earth. That's the only way to go with the FBI. Okay. Because why are we not hearing from him? Why there's nothing about him or any article? He just disappeared. Like he just vanished of planet Earth. Okay, and that's what the FBI do. They tend to erase you, change your identity, make you disappear, or end up maybe worse. So that's pretty, very, very odd to me. Okay, now, again, nothing is making sense to me whatsoever. Oops, let me just put this away. Thank you. Nothing's making sense to me. Also, I want to talk to you about the autopsy. Now, I showed a clip of a short video of the autopsy recording of the 911, and the gentleman said there was no autopsy, but then, and that Mrs. Kirk was going to arrive to sign off of it, but again, it's against the law. You have to have an autopsy to perform because it's against the law not to do. So I just want to say they have done the autopsy. There is a report. However, they will not release it to the public. I guess, they're keeping that and they're not disclosing it. Why? I do not know. They're only disclosing it to family members, obviously to his wife. And yeah, that's the only person they should disclose it to his wife. That's it. They should not disclose it to anyone, but they're not going to disclose it to the public, apparently. So there was an autopsy report, but I guess in the state of Utah, they're not going to release it to the public. It's a private matter, which I get. So there was an autopsy done, and we will never know about the autopsy, which we should know because, the whole world saw Charlie Kirk got shot in the neck. So I think that the people, the public, deserve to know what really happened. Just that the surgeon said that he was Superman, because the bullet just went a different way and it didn't impact anyone, which is ridiculous why he said that. But anyway, I already plead my case on that. But yeah, there's no article on these 2 individuals, George Zen and the boyfriend Lance. Nothing. They just disappeared. Okay, disappear on the face of the earth like they don't exist. They don't exist, and it's just very, 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 very weird and concerning. And again, nothing doesn't seem right to me. But I'm gonna let you listen to Candace Owens, what she has to say about the camera guy, and take a listen to her thoughts.
Who's this person? And they tell me the person's name, and I go, wait a second. And I look again, I'm like, I know this person. It's been a few years, but I know this person. This person's been around Turning Point for quite some time, for years. Like I said, back when I was working at Turning Point, early days. So I'm like, I'm just going to reach out, obviously. I know this individual. I'm going to reach out, and I'm going to say, hey, what's up with this? Where is this footage? Obviously, he's seeing all of these clips going viral, and he is fearful for his family. He doesn't have any security. Why would you grab the cameras? And he says, because the first thing that I thought is that I better secure the footage and be helpful and give that footage, hand that footage over to the feds. Well, obviously, that's where things get into a pickle with me because we don't trust the feds. Could you send this footage over to me? Well, he didn't want to send the footage over to me without checking with Turning Point lawyers. I asked the question, why not just release it? We've already seen the worst thing that you could possibly see from the front. the short run, he agrees that rather than send the footage, he will get onto a FaceTime call with me and he will show me the footage on his computer. He did that, and I watched the footage, and I'm going to tell you what I saw. First and foremost, there was nothing gory about this shot at all. And so, again, I am still going to work with him to get me the footage so that I think it should be shared. There's nothing gory about this footage from the back. The thing that really stood out to me, and I just kept asking him to replay it over and over and over again, is that there's no blood. There's no blood from the back. There is no blood. So I think a lot of people were wondering whether or not that bullet pierced and went out the back. I think I vaguely even remember, and Skylar, you can maybe live look this up, but like I thought the feds were saying they were looking for a bullet at some point, which is now very alarming to me. I don't understand that. How could they have been looking for a bullet? Because if I'm not seeing, and there isn't, I'm telling you, what happens in the front is not what happens in the back at all. If I'm not seeing any blood, what are we to take from that? The only thing that could make sense, if what they're saying is true, and that person took the shot from the place that they're saying that individual took the shot from, it would suggest that it was inside of Charlie, right? And they would know that. The feds would have known that.
So, is that a possibility, you guys? Is that a possibility that it was inside of Charlie Kirk, and then that's how he got shot? Because I saw the footage of the aftermath of the shooting of Charlie Kirk, and there was blood gushing out of his neck, and then he went back and fell forward, and he fell. Now, again, I'm not an expert in guns. I'm not an expert in bullets. You know what I mean? That's why, I've been also watching, videos of the Marines and the Army snapper. Snapper. I'm saying snapper, Apollo. Can you believe this? Snappers, not snappers. You get what I'm saying, you guys. Again, I apologize. It just, my tongue is swollen, and I don't know. I think I told you why, and I'm still pushing through. So forgive me for the wrong words that I'm saying, and there's no excuse, but I'm in pain, but I'm pushing through for you guys because I love you, and I just wanted to do this video. So the Army, who handles guns and who knows bullets and all that stuff, the angles, how they position themselves and stuff like that, they know where the bullet will not fly, but where it hits. Again, what I saw in the video of what happened to Charlie Kirk, that it went through his neck, and then there was blood gushing down. Now, I didn't see any blood in the neck. In the back. However, like I said in the video that I showed yesterday with the security team, when they were trying to, save Charlie and try to help him as much as they can to bring him to the hospital, there was no blood in their hands. All they were doing was just trying to get something out of him and hand it to someone else. The guy with the black shirt, his security detail, he tapped something on his glasses to turn on or turn off. I'm not sure. To me, that looks a little suspect. Okay? Again, I don't know what to make of that. I really don't, because the blood was not, they didn't have blood in his hands. They grabbed something. We don't know what they grabbed. Apparently, some people are saying that something exploded, or that's how the gunshot came out. I don't know. I don't know what to believe or what to see. Obviously, I don't believe the feds. I really don't. I don't believe anything that they're saying because they're lying and they're not telling us the truth and they're not very transparent. But again, I don't know where the bullet was coming from. If it was coming from the not definitely not from the rooftop. That's for sure, because that's impossible. But from another direction, it's possible. Again, it's possible. I'm not 100% sure. That's why we need to know more of like what really happened. Again, the police department, they did a disgusting job of containing the crime scene. They didn't do a good job. And I'm going to show you a picture of the law enforcement, as you can see. So that's the camera guy that Candace Owens was talking about. He was looking to grab the camera. I don't understand why this dude, they didn't even notice. He didn't notice anything. He was just looking around, he had his gun, and that's it. How do you not notice that there was someone behind you? You're not telling that person to clear out, get out. It's a crime scene. And they're not, securing the crime scene. They're not barricading. They're not putting any tape or anything. Weird to me. Okay, that's another red flag. It's like I don't understand how these law enforcement do their jobs. How they don't protect the crime scene when a crime has happened. When a crime happens, you protect the crime scene. You don't contaminate anything. That's just one on one. And I'm not even in law enforcement. That's just common sense. Common sense. So this one I want to show you as well. The security team. This image, because like I said, it looks very suspicious to me, and it's definitely a red flag. Take a look. Now you see. Let me go back. Okay. Now someone is handing something to this gentleman's hand. See? Hand. What is that? I'm trying to figure it out, and I'm just going every angle, and I'm going to rewind back again and show you what is that. What is that gentleman is handing to that gentleman? I would like to know. See the three gentlemen, Charlie Security, and his officer. What are they grabbing? And again, no blood. There's no blood in their hands. So what are they doing? What are they doing? Again, I'm not accusing anyone. I'm just asking the question because what they're doing looks very, very suspicious, and it doesn't look right, and it doesn't make any sense. So my question to you guys, what are they doing? Again, look at the footage, and I'm going to rewind it again. There's no blood in their hands. So let's go back. Does that make sense? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Again, a lot of questions, a lot of uncertainty, and I just hope and pray that we get to the bottom of this and we will find the truth. I know Candace Owens, she is on this, on fire. She is not going to stop, and she is going to continue to set things on fire and have people tell the truth and have people take accountability of what happened to Charlie Kirk, because what happened to him was unacceptable. It wasn't right. It was just wrong, disgusting, cruel. This man was a man of God who was a husband, a father, a God-fearing man who loved God, his family, and his country first, and on those three orders. And he went around all the campuses just to debate with students, just to debate, whether you like him or not. And that's what he enjoyed to do. That's what God intended him to do God's work. And that's exactly what he was doing. Now, again, I don't know what he has with the Israel. He didn't have any issues. And again, I have no evidence of proof if the Israeli government have anything to do with this or not. I have no shred of proof of that. And I just don't want to go there in that rabbit hole. Do I trust the Israel government? No, because they're trying to control us and control our speech. Do I trust the Israeli government? No, I really don't. The only person I trust is my Lord and Savior, my husband, and my friends, and my family. Those are the people that I trust. I don't trust these government. And again, I have no proof of any involvement in that. But what I can say, that the Turning Point executive, those people, that Charlie Kirk, hired, and he was a founder. Do I believe they have any part of the Charlie Kirk assassination? No, but do I believe that they have something to do with inside operation of the Turning Point? Yes. Do I believe that they may have something to do with the donors who donated money for Turning Point? Yes, I do. Because listen, let's just get real here, you guys. When you have a big corporation like Turning Point or any corporation, there's always going to be some bad apple in that corporation. Just like in the White House, you're going to have some bad apples in the White House that somebody is going to do some corrupt, shady things, and do things that you or may not be aware of, and thinking that they may not get caught, they might not deal with the consequences, maybe not now, but eventually later. It's the same thing with any corporation. When you have a big corporation like that, like Turning Point, and you have all these employees, you're going to have some bad apple who only think about themselves and think about money. Because, like I said, money rules all evil. And when you're influenced by money, when you have donors giving you lots of money, you tend to do things that typically you shouldn't do, but you are doing it because you're just thinking about yourself because you're selfish and you're not thinking about the whole business of Turning Point that Charlie Kirk has found and what he worked so hard for, and people that he trusted doing some shady things behind his back when he was alive and dead. And Candace Owens, she's going to get to the bottom of it because there's people from the inside are talking to her and telling her all these things, and rightfully so. So good. There are some good moral people are seeing things are happening behind the scenes that's not right and that shouldn't be happening, and they're reporting to Candace Owens, and Candace Owens is going to expose these bastards. And good, good. Because you know what? You can't do that. You can't call yourself Christian and then do evil things. And this is what the things that's be battling, you guys. Be battling good versus evil, okay? Not right and left, not the right, not the left, not the red, not the blue. This is a spiritual warfare that we all facing and battling with, okay? Good versus evil. That's it. That's it. That's what we're battling for. You're not battling the left, the right, the red, the blue, none of that nonsense. This is a spiritual warfare that we are dealing with, okay? And when you have powerful people who try to influence other people and giving them money and stuff like that, what do you expect? They're not going to do the right thing. They're going to do things to benefit their own needs and their own wants instead of doing the right thing. When Charlie Kirk actually helped these people, he found Turning Point. He made it a success. And this is what happens. Okay? So do I believe there's someone inside who are doing some shady things and maybe Charlie Kirk was trying to get to the bottom of this and people got scared? Yes. Yes. Because there's people telling Candace Owens. And Candace Owens knows. So just like you say, she knows, but I don't know. But she knows, but I don't know. But she does know. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm probably saying it wrong, but you get my drift. Okay? So, people should think twice. People should resign. You know what I mean? Just quit and just tell the truth. And that's the thing. And that's what Candace Owens is saying to other people. Just tell the truth. Tell the truth what really happened because the truth will set you free. And if you tend not to do that, everyone's going to be exposed. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Like I said, you can keep things from the dark, but our Lord and Savior, He is going to bring things to light because truth always wins. It may take long for the truth to come out, but it always wins. You can't hide from the truth. Okay? And lastly, before I go, a lot of people who loves money, because money rules all evil, okay? When you make the deal with the devil, don't think the devil is not going to turn on you, okay? Because he wants to get you where he wants you to what you call it, to accept his prey, his challenge, if that makes sense, for you to be weak and do his dirty deed. But once you do that dirty deed, don't think that the devil is going to turn on you because then the truth is going to come out. Okay? Remember, the devil knows everything. Okay? He knows your inner thoughts. He knows what you're thinking, what you're capable of. He knows. He knows your weaknesses. He knows your falls. He knows all of that. And when you're playing your hands with the devil, you're taking a big risk and a big chance of doing that. Okay? And just think, when you do that, there's going to be consequences for your actions. And like I said, Candace Owens is getting to the bottom of this. And she probably have receipts anyway. She has receipts. She already knows who they are. She's just not releasing it yet. Because I haven't seen the Turning Point executive made any statements yet because she challenged them to see if she's lying and they haven't said anything yet. Okay? So, again, I don't know. I really feel sorry for the people who were doing some shady things behind Turning Point's back, and also Charlie Kirk when he was dead and alive. May he rest in peace. It's just so sad and unfortunate that that happened to him. And just to think that you thought you was going to get away with what you did, what you thought, what you were doing. Just to think that they was going to get away with it. Not with Candace Owens, because she is going to expose all the truth, all the names. She has receipts. She's just taking her time. She just want to make sure she has all her ducks in a row. Because you know what? When you say certain things very quickly and very fast, that's how people turn on you. Say, gotcha. She's lying. She's not. We fact checked her. Blah blah blah. She's careful of what she's saying and what she's doing. You don't think that she don't want to release the names and drop videos and stuff and text messages? Of course she does. I know I would. But not we, but she wants to make sure that she got all her information right and correct before she exposes everyone. Now people's going to say, oh, she's doing this, cliffhanger, to get views and likes. Listen, everyone is doing it. Everyone is talking about Charlie Kirk, the assassination, this and that, videos. We all doing it, including me. So why are you judging her and condemning her because she wants to know the truth, what really happened to her friend, and everyone else is doing it? No one's not doing it because they cared and want the truth. I care, to be honest with you. And I don't even know the guy. I never met him. I watch videos of him and his podcasts and stuff like that, which a lot of stuff resonate with me. But I have no skin in the game with this. I really don't. I want to know the truth. You know what I mean? Other people are just doing it for clicks and likes. I don't even know if anyone's going to watch this or not, but I'm just doing this video to speak my mind, give my opinion, and I want answers. And hopefully someone can give me some answers. I have questions, excuse me, and I hope someone gives me some answers to let me know what's really happening. If what I'm saying is correct or is just a figment of my imagination, or I'm just imagining everything, all the footages that I saw, multiple videos that I watched, and in the aftermath. Was it all just a figment of my imagination, what I just saw? You know what I mean? So like I said, I have no skin in the game of this. I do want truth and I want transparency. I don't want this investigation to linger and then they execute the wrong person when the real the real shooter is long gone by now. He's probably in Europe, France, Italy. We don't know. I can just tell you this: they're never going to find the shooter. That I can tell you. They're not. They're going to blame it on Tyler. Okay, and then that man is going to be dead or suicidal. Not suicide. They're going to kill him and make it pretend that he killed himself because he was suicidal when we all know he's not. So that's the possibility. Okay, they're just gonna frame everything. Okay, that's what they're gonna do. That's their narrative. That's what they're good at. They're good at framing things. They're good at presenting something that is not true to make us to believe what they're saying is true when it's not true. If that makes sense. Because it's not true, okay? Because Tyler is not suicidal, okay? So if anything happens to him, he did not kill himself. Or they're going to let him take the fall, and he's going to get the lethal injection. And they're going to kill the wrong shooter. And then the real shooter is off in paradise somewhere in Europe. And we will never know. That's just my opinion. We will never know the real shooter. They're never going to capture the real shooter because the FBI knows who it is. They know already. They know. We're not stupid. I'm not stupid. They know who it is. They know. They just have to point it to someone else. And that's just crazy to me that they will kill someone, an innocent person. And like I said, I just want to be very clear. He has some type of involvement in this and he should do some time. But I don't think that he should get that lethal injection for something that he really didn't do, meaning that he did not shoot Charlie Kirk. He should get a sentence. He should get like at least 5 years in prison or something, and towards Zen too, or anyone else that was involved in this, you know what I mean? But he was not the shooter. So why should he get the consequences of something that he didn't really do? Meaning that he didn't really shoot Charlie Kirk. But anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Let me know your thoughts of everything that I just talked about, of Sean Diddy Combs, about the Charlie Kirk assassination, of my thoughts behind it, and how the security detail looks very shady to me. The camera guy, why he's not releasing the video of the footage what really happened in the back of Charlie Kirk. right? He's like giving it a Candace on. If you're really afraid and scared and you want to protect your family and you really don't have security detail to protect yourself or your family, why not give the footage to Candace Owens? Why give it? Why not give it to someone who can put it to use and do something about it? Why you keep it? Why is he holding on to it? What is it? For blackmail? Are you trying to blackmail the FBI? Are you trying to blackmail someone to get money so you can just disappear with your family? What is it? Because it doesn't make any sense to me. If you don't want no part of this and you're afraid for your family and for your safety, give the SD card to Candace Owens. Let her handle it. Let her take care of it if you don't want no involvement in it. Again, something doesn't seem right with that guy at all. I don't care what he says. He didn't want to give it to the feds. He didn't want the feds to get their hands on it. Okay, he could be telling the truth because with the feds, they can just wipe everything out and put something in it. Possibility. But again, I don't buy what that guy is saying. Again, if it was me and I did that, I'm going to give it to the right person that I know that they're going to do something good for it, good towards it. You know what I mean? That they're going to seek truth out of it. Obviously, I would definitely not give it to the FBI because why would I do that if I was in that position? I would give it to the right person who I know that will do the right thing to this footage. You get what I'm saying? So again, I don't understand why he's keeping it, why he's hesitant, not giving it to Candace Owens. Again, I feel like he's using it for his own leverage, for his own what you call it? Apollo, help me. What word I'm trying to say? His own benefit. Thank you, Apollo. See? That's why my dog is good for something. Just kidding. He's good for everything. For his own benefit. But anyway, you guys, that's all I have to say about that. I just don't want to keep you longer than I should have. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I really appreciate and love you all for this comment and you just sharing your opinions and your thoughts about what I just discussed and other videos that I posted in the past. I just really, really appreciate each and one of you. So stay safe. God bless. Have a great weekend. And I will see you guys on Monday.